Hello world, I'm Maya Sundermeyer, and I would like to welcome you to the latest episode of my blog series. So far, I have been able to share my own experiences on what it's like for me to live with Asperger syndrome. A second thing that I will do is give my 2 cents on what's going on with autism in the media. A third area entails providing tips and advice for those of you who are on the autism spectrum, as well as your friends and your family members and your peers and your educators, your employers, the professionals in your life, and people who work in the community and the like. And finally, I will cover topics on things that I'm passionate about that are not autism related. Now, before I dive into today's topic, I have 2 things to mention. So if you click up here in the upper right hand corner, this is a video by Danny Rady from the Asperger Experts, and this is his model on the sensory funnel and what his potential is to get an individual with Asperger syndrome out of their comfort zone and away from things like video games all the time and get them exposed to new and different things. And like you and me, he has Asperger syndrome too, and he is an amazing young man. And the second thing I would like you guys to do is check out my written blogs on WordPress.com. You can find those under helloworld240.wordpress.com. That's helloworld240.wordpress.com. And what I would like to do now is do 2 things. Number 1, share my own experiences on what it's like to live with Asperger syndrome. And number 2, give tips and advice out there to family members and friends of friends, and to those of you who are friends of individuals with Asperger syndrome and autism, because I think this is a really, really important vlog. So here goes. So I was friends with someone for about 8 years, and she was on the autism spectrum too, but she didn't have Asperger's. She had a nonverbal learning disability, or NLD, that's very similar to autism. The only difference is you don't have the special interests, and you don't have the sensory issues that someone like myself has. And so we would be friends, and I would stay at her house in the beginning, and we talked about being roommates, and we introduced each other to other friends outside of our little girly girl bond. And a couple of times I had gone over to the house of her friends and her family members, and even went out to eat with them, and they appeared to be nice to me, and they were saying things like, "Oh, Maya, it's so good to see you." And a couple of times I left going away really happy. I mean, I did not suspect a thing. And then when I turned around, I heard through my friend that these other people did not like me. And they were going around and saying that, well, she's a cute girl, but she's hyper. She talks like a 12-year-old. She needs to work on her social skills. She thinks that she's the center of attention because she dominates the conversation. She sat down in somebody else's seat when they got up to get a drink, and so on and so forth. And they never really ever came forward to me. I always heard all of this through my former friend all the time. And I wanted to let you guys know that that kind of behavior is absolutely dangerous. Because we, as an individual with Asperger syndrome, aren't doing anything on purpose. We're acting the way that we know how, because we didn't have people being direct with us. And I think that instead of putting on a friendly mask and making somebody believe that you like them, and then going behind their back and ripping on them, is absolutely not good for somebody with Asperger syndrome. And in fact, that's gossip. And I wanted to say too that the individual with Asperger syndrome isn't going to learn anything by you going and ripping on somebody else behind their backs. So rather than going and complaining to their child or to their other friend who's your friend as well, it's better for you to contact the friend and say, hey, I really would like to sit down and speak with your friend, because there's some things that are really bothering me. I don't know much about them, but right now I need to talk to them. And see how much more sufficient it is than going and complaining about how you don't like them because they did this or that. I mean, yeah, sure. We people with Asperger syndrome give off a lot of really negative vibes. But that doesn't mean that you have to exclude us. That doesn't mean you have to jump to conclusions. And again, just because you don't like them doesn't mean that you have to be nasty. And it also doesn't mean that it's okay for you to put on the nice mask to their face, because we're not going to read those cues. We're going to think, oh, these people like us and they adore us. So instead, just pull them to the side. And for those of you that are friends, I don't think it's okay for you to allow your friends and your family to get away with this behavior. It's better for you to stand up for your friend that has Asperger's or autism and let them know, hey, look, my friend has these issues. She needs to be taught social skills. If you have a problem, please be direct with her. So, anyway, I'm out of time. If you have any questions or comments, do not forget to state below. I'm Maya Sundermeyer, and I'm signing off now.